everyone, this is Melissa, and I'm the talkative introvert. If you're new to the podcast, every once in a while, I'll change it up and talk about something that isn't necessarily introvert related. So today's episode is going to be about micro goals. So every year for the past, maybe like 8 years or something like that, my New Year's resolution has always been the same, which is to lose weight. However, I have failed every single year. And every single year, I feel discouraged and I feel like a complete failure because then I start up the new year and try again. And my biggest culprit, honestly, is food. Food is such a major thing in our family and in my culture. And every event has like abundance of food. We never run out of food during an event. Like that's just not a thing. And food is just such a big thing. And if you're Filipino, like I am, I'm sure the first thing your mom always asks you is, did you eat already? That's like the most popular thing that Filipinos say. And I'm sure it's with other cultures too. I'm not saying only Filipinos say that, but in my experience and because I'm Filipino, that's just like the first thing you say. That's the first thing I literally tell or ask my husband when he gets home is, did you eat already? Or it's just like I don't know, at this point, it's like a greeting. Every time you see someone, it's like, did you eat already? And like every time I hang out with my friends, it's a given that we're going to eat or go out to eat or, do takeout or something. Food has just always been there and it's always been like that constant in my life. And I mean, food is good. It's just so good. So that's definitely my biggest struggle for sure. And then when the holidays come around, it's so much harder to like keep up with my goal because like there's Thanksgiving and then there's Christmas and there's New Year's and then all the birthdays in between those holidays. And it's just all just food in your face the whole time. So I go into this cycle where basically like January is kind of like my do-over, I guess, for the year. So I'll have the same New Year's resolution every year. And at the start of January, like I give myself a break because it's like my birthday and we have a bunch of birthdays in January. Not like that matters because there's a bunch of birthdays in every month. But that's like where I'm like, okay, after my birthday, it's all, all about losing weight. It's all about like eating healthy and getting active and blah, 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 blah. The year goes by, I'm not seeing results. And then the holidays hit you. And then it's just like food after food after food and events. And then I basically just give up. And then I'm like, okay, well, you know what? I'll try again in January. And then we go on the cycle again and again. And so, this last year, so in December, I was talking to my manager just about random stuff. And we got to talking about how we always set up goals for ourselves, but hardly achieve them, especially when it comes to like our well-being and like our physical health. And so she mentioned how she's going to focus on micro goals. I forgot how she came across it, but I think she was either like reading something or heard about it from someone or maybe found it on I don't know, YouTube or whatever. It doesn't matter. She just like heard about it somehow. And that's what she was going to focus on. When she said that, I was thinking, that's such a simple concept. Like, why have I not thought about that already? Like, sometimes ideas are just so simplistic that it's easy to overlook them or dismiss them. So in this episode, I'm going to talk about what I learned, like researching about micro goals and how I plan to incorporate that into my life this year. So what are micro goals? The name is pretty self-explanatory. They're essentially tiny goals. However, they serve to fulfill a much larger goal, which is your macro goal, if you will. If you're in the IT industry, specifically on an agile project, you could kind of think of it as like the overall goal is like the feature or the epic, and then the micro goals are like the user stories. And so you are approaching it in increments. So the point really around micro goals is to help you or help encourage you by celebrating these small achievements along the way to your much larger macro goal. Because an achievement, small or large, is still an achievement, right? It's still worth recognizing the fact that you accomplished something. Because the problem I think that I have and many others, I'm sure, is that people tend to make these big, giant goals and then they end up feeling like discouraged when they don't achieve that goal right away. And then they end up getting like burnt out and just quitting altogether. So instead, you're creating these smaller habits and incorporating them into your daily life, which leads you to ultimately accomplishing your macro goal. So I will get into that a little more. But before we get to that, I think it's important to talk about like how to create goals, right? So first of all, small or large, all goals should be SMART. SMART. If you don't know what that means, then I'm sorry because your high school teacher must have failed you. Just kidding. But I did learn this in high school. So if you don't know, SMART is an acronym. So S is for specific. It's important to clearly define your goal. So try to make it not vague, basically. Instead of saying, I want to be more active, maybe say something more like, I want to start running. Like make a specific goal, a specific like activity. If you want to do like, I don't know, weightlifting or walking or blah, blah, blah. Just make it specific. Then M is for measurable. So making a goal measurable allows you to track your progress. So if we use the example of, I want to start running, for example, you could say, I want to be able to run a full mile without stopping. So it's a little more specific and you can also track that progress, right? So A is for attainable. It has to be something within your own means. So obviously, for example, if you're a newly graduated student, your goal after college shouldn't be to apply for a senior management position. So you got to really think, is this goal realistic for me? And then R is for relevant. That's pretty obvious. If your goal is not relevant to you and doesn't benefit you in any way, then you'll most likely abandon it. So why even make that goal? It has to be something definitely worth your time. And you got to ask yourself, why did you set this goal for yourself? What purpose does it serve? And if you want to take this running example, you could say that I want to be able to run a full mile to improve my physical well-being. And then the last one is T for time-based. And basically what you're doing is adding an end date to your goal. So not only is this for you to stay motivated and celebrate your achievements, but it also allows you to reevaluate why you didn't make that end date. It allows you to take a pause and really assess and figure out what do you need to adjust to make sure you meet that goal, such as creating micro goals. So using our example, a SMART goal would sound something like, to improve my physical well-being, I will run a full mile by the end of 6 months. I don't know if that's a great example, but you can definitely Google SMART goals and there's like all kinds of stuff you can read about and figure out like what a SMART goal is. Okay, now that I've talked about that, hopefully that wasn't too boring. Let's get into like the actual micro goals. So like I said earlier, micro goals are smaller goals that serve a larger purpose. So if we want to continue using the mile example, so your overall goal would be, running the mile, right? If you live a sedentary lifestyle and don't work out, you probably can't just go out and expect to be able to run a mile. I definitely can't run a mile right now, which is kind of something I want to work on too. So that's where micro goals come in. So micro goals can honestly be as minuscule as you see fit. For example, you can give yourself something as small as literally researching for the best type of running/walking shoes and then going out and buying them. And that seems very small, sure, but it still requires time and effort. You still have to put in the time to like research what's best for you and fits best for you. For example, like I have wide feet but a high arch, so I need that like kind of a bigger shoe, but also has like really great arch support. Obviously, if that's too microscopic for you, a little too small, it's a little too micro, you can elaborate and expand. So another good example would be going for a walk at least 3 times a week for the next 2 weeks. Then after you accomplish that goal, then you can go up, right? So you can walk 3 times a week, but run the last 5 minutes of your walk. So you can see that these micro goals kind of have this snowball effect. So you start small, but then you add on to it. So as you're progressing towards that macro goal, you're celebrating these small achievements along the way. At the same time, you're creating habits that become a part of your regular routine. As I was researching about micro goals, I read this article in Talkspace about how creating and focusing on micro goals can actually increase happiness. I'll provide that link in the description, but if you're not much of a reader, I'll try to paraphrase it. It's really similar to what I said earlier, how people get discouraged easily because they're too focused on the larger goal instead of celebrating the achievements you've made as you work towards that goal. So the simple act of accomplishment increases your dopamine levels, which makes you happy. If you're only looking at the bigger picture, then you're going to constantly feel discouraged and maybe even overwhelmed and burnt out. And so that's why these micro goals and being able to accomplish these micro goals throughout the process makes you happier, makes you stay motivated to keep going and keep trying to achieve that larger goal. So back to my New Year's resolution that I talked about earlier, I always set this up for myself every year that I want to lose weight. Big surprise, right? Because that's like everybody's New Year's resolution. Such a basic goal. But if you listen to my body dysmorphia and me episode in season 1, I talk about my struggles with my self-image and feeling confident and happy in my own skin. I feel that losing weight would probably help me in that department. I also have a family history of diabetes and heart problems and thyroid problems and high blood pressure and so on. So not only do I want to feel good in my own skin, but I also have a responsibility to myself to live a healthier life so I can live a longer and more fulfilling life. The problem is that I try to do too much all at once. So every January I go, okay, I'm going to wake up early every single day. I'm going to work out every single day. I'm going to completely stop eating blah, blah, blah. I'm going to cut out sweets and rice and whatever else. And it's really just not realistic. I try to deprive myself of everything I'm used to having on a regular basis. And it's like being a drug addict and quitting cold turkey. If you know anything about drugs or alcohol, for example, like an alcoholic who stops cold turkey can potentially die. Obviously, that's a little exaggerated for my situation, but I'm basically just saying it doesn't necessarily always work to just completely deprive yourself and cut yourself off of everything and try to do a full 180 and change your whole entire lifestyle. And I do that every January. And I don't know why I keep doing that because I know it doesn't work, but I still do that. I don't know why. So this year I'm going to try something new. I'm going to go in with a different mindset and try out these micro goals. So if you don't know me personally, one of the things I love to do is plan. I love planning. So did I create a spreadsheet outlining my micro goals? Of course I did. I won't bore you with every single micro goal I have, but I'll give you some examples that I'm starting with. This might sound a little silly, but one of my goals is to put my phone away and put it on the charger in the bathroom every night during the week for at least 1 week. And I actually really like putting my phone away, so much so that I actually started doing this on the weekend too. Because originally I was just doing it during the week. I used to keep my phone under my pillow every night because I also use it as an alarm. But the problem with having my phone so close to me is that I would go on it and I would spend hours on my phone. And then by the time I stopped looking at my phone, it's 2:00 in the morning and I should have already been asleep. Then I end up waking up super tired and super groggy when it's time to log in for work. Last year, a lot of times I would just get up at exactly 7:55 so I could log into work at 8 o'clock. So this micro goal really is a predecessor to a slew of habits that I want to adopt for this year. I want to eventually start going to bed at a decent time, which would lead to waking up at a decent time, which will then lead to reserving time in the morning to just prep for the day. Because I don't do that. I mean, I'm trying to do that now, but I don't do that usually. And, like I said, I would get up like 5 minutes before I have to log into work, but I want to be able to create a habit where I'm up early enough so that I can like set myself up for the rest of the day. Or as like we always say at work, set ourselves up for success, meaning like enough time to fill up my water bottle, brew some tea, eat breakfast, change out of my pajamas, and so on and so forth. You know, just get ready for the day, which I didn't do before. And so I'm trying to work on that this year. And then that eventually will lead to like incorporating physical activity into my daily routine. So I want to not only just like get up and get ready in the morning, but I do want to incorporate yoga. So in previous episodes, I mentioned that I started doing yoga during this like pandemic, and I actually really love it. And there's like this 30-day challenge on Amazon that you could do with, I think her name's like, what's her name? Julia Marie or something like that. I'll try to find the link. It's there. I put a link in like my body dysmorphia and me episode, I think, but I'll try to find it and add it to this episode too, if you're, interested in that. But I also wanted to do that in the mornings and make that a regular thing. And eventually lead to more like physical activities. Like I want to spend my lunch walking Link, and Link is my dog, in case you don't know. So I want to incorporate that into my lunch because I do get an hour lunch. So at least like, the first half hour I could walk Link, and then the other half I can like eat my lunch or do whatever. And then maybe try to incorporate something active like after work. Since I do sit at a desk all day, I'm basically just like sitting for 8 hours. So I wanted to try to do something active like in the morning, in the afternoon, and then a little after work, because that way, like after work, I'm not just making dinner and then watching TV afterwards. Like I want to like move my body around and be active, since I've like sat for like 4 hours straight. Yeah, so the physical activities, and then obviously like also incorporating some healthy eating habits, eating more fruit and veggies, including more veggies to dinner. That stuff's kind of easy because we do that anyways. I always have veggies for dinner. I actually like veggies, so it's not like a big deal. But I guess incorporating more of it and eating less of like all the bad stuff. So once I like start incorporating these habits into my daily routine, and it becomes like a normal thing and a regular thing that I do every single day, all of this will eventually lead to me living a healthier life, which will inevitably lead to me losing weight. I almost didn't start a podcast because I actually have a hard time talking. So in my head, I speak very eloquently and it's beautiful. And in my head, the voice in my head is like super, I don't know, sophisticated. But then every time I try to talk, it doesn't come out right. And it comes out like trash sometimes, and I stutter. And anyways, a little tangent. But I still like doing the podcast, so I'm still going to do it, even though I don't speak very well. But I promise you, in my head, I'm like a master speaker. Anyways, back to micro goals. So yeah, so my micro goals really are focused around creating and implementing new healthy habits into my lifestyle. And so for this year, I essentially designated January for planning. January is kind of a big month of birthdays. So my birthday, my brother's birthday, and my mom's birthday are all in January. And so it's kind of hard to like start up on those like healthy habits. I know that's like just making an excuse, but again, like I said, food is a big thing in our culture and in our family. And so every year we always want to like go all out and eat something that we don't normally eat. Like, what did we do for my mom's birthday? Oh, my mom, she requested for fried chicken wings. So I don't know if fire wings is only like in California or I'm not sure, but she requested specifically for fire wings. So we literally got like a bunch of just fried wings, like different flavors. And that was like her request. And then for her sides, she wanted French fries and garlic noodles. And so obviously none of that was healthy. Oh, and she wanted zucchini sticks, but they're deep fried. So I don't think that counts as a veggie because it's basically just oil and breading. But yeah, and then like for my birthday or my brother's birthday, I guess, what did we do for my brother's birthday? Oh, he wanted buckhorn grill. So we got like 2 tri-tips and we got fried chicken sandwiches and we got sausages and burgers. So again, a lot of food, an abundance of food. And for my mom and my brother, it's not so bad because like my brother, I don't know. I think he just has a really fast metabolism, I guess. I don't know, but he can eat a lot, but not really gain that much weight. And then my mom doesn't really eat that much because she's really little. She's only like 4'8", I think. So she'll just like take bites of everything and then that's it. And then she's full. And then she just like keeps everything as leftovers and eats them for the rest of the week or whatever. So January, I kind of designated that as like my planning month just because we do have our birthdays and my family does like to eat on our birthdays. And like, I think for my birthday, we're celebrating mine a little late, but my mom wants to get like dim sum. And so that's just like a bunch of dumplings and there's a bunch of fried stuff involved in there and pork belly and whatever. So that's why January, I just decided like, I'm just going to plan this month. But I did still do some stuff to prep for the rest of the year. And I did like little things. Like one of the first things I did was clean up my phone. So if you haven't heard my social media cleanse episode, I do this on a regular cadence anyways, but I wanted to clean up my phone even more to make it less distracting for me because my phone is very distracting and I'm on it a lot and I'm trying not to be on it so much. So I deleted the Reddit app because I do go on Reddit a lot. And at first it was just for podcast stuff, but then like I followed like the gardening subreddit and the crafting one and the calligraphy one and the Animal Crossing one. So I decided to just delete the app. And then if I really actually want to use Reddit, like it would force me to go on my computer and log in and actually do it. And I'm such a lazy person that I personally have not gone on Reddit since I deleted the app just because I'm too lazy to go on my computer to open that up unless I'm doing something for the podcast and I'm trying to think of new ideas or something. But that extra step kind of makes me not want to go on. And then I also deleted DoorDash. If you don't know what DoorDash is, it's just like that delivery service for food. So it's kind of like there's Grubhub and Postmates and Uber Eats and like all those, they're all the same. There's just like some rando picking up food for you and chopping off at your door. So I deleted that app. And then I turned on focus mode on my phone. So I think most, if not all smartphones can do this, but basically you set a time frame on when it should be turned on. And so I set mine to turn on during work hours so that when I'm working, I'm not using my phone. And then you can also take a break. So you can go on the app and just say like taking a break for like 15 minutes or 30 minutes. So like on my lunch, I'll take a break. It's just to see like if I got any notifications and stuff like that. Cause I do get like Snapchats and Instagram like posts or whatever. And so for that, I pause Snapchat, Instagram, Nextdoor, and Gmail. And it's set from 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. So like I said, during work hours, I don't want to get distracted by my phone during work hours because I do reach for it a lot. And then in the app, it actually tells you how many times you unlock your phone. And even though I have it turned off, like it's on focus mode during work, I don't know why, but I still grab for my phone and turn it on. Even though I know I'm not going to get any notifications because I have focus mode on, but I still just grab for it anyways. So I'm trying to stop doing that. And one day I did look at it, and it was just like in the afternoon, and I turned on my phone 42 times, even though I know I'm not getting notifications because they're paused. But yet I still grab for it and check my phone 42 times. So I don't know why I do that. So I'm trying not to do that. But yeah, so I did this so I can spend less time on my phone and use that time for something more meaningful. I didn't completely remove phone time, obviously, because like I said, during my break, I take a break from focus mode so I could check social media and whatnot. And then it turns off at 5. Although I do kind of think, well, no, I think it's fine because then that really gives me only like the hour for lunch, which I'm trying to incorporate walking links. So I won't be on it anyways for like half an hour. So really it's like a half an hour lunch. Maybe I'm on my phone. And then now that I'm putting my phone away before bed, I'm trying to put my phone away like by 9:30. So like really I only have my phone from 5 to 9:30, which honestly is not a lot of time. That's like 4.5 hours. But like if you think about it, like I cook dinner, for example, and I eat dinner and I also shower and get ready for bed. So really I may be spending a total of 3 hours on my phone. Maybe. I'm not sure. I've never like timed it myself, but that's pretty good in my opinion. Before I used to be on my phone like in the morning, in the afternoons, during work, and like before I go to bed. So I think that's pretty good. And I've actually been able to go to bed at a decent time and actually wake up not super tired. The only times I do wake up super, super tired is only if like I had a stressful day at work or something the day before. So I think even though it's only been a few weeks I've been doing this, I think it's actually been really helpful to not be on my phone so much. And it's good for your eyes too. So it's helping me physically and mentally. And then another thing we did in January, so when I say we, I mean me and my husband, we cleaned out our fridge and cupboards and threw away like all our junk food. So I know I mentioned earlier that I'm working on micro goals and that you're not supposed to deprive yourself of stuff and blah, blah, blah. But we personally don't ever eat or buy junk food normally. We would not normally have that in our house. However, it was something that we had in our cupboards because of the holidays. And during Christmas and Thanksgiving, we got a bunch of like chocolates and we got popcorn and we got like candy and like these all kinds of stuff, like stuff we wouldn't even eat or buy anyways. So it's technically not depriving us of stuff. But the reason why we kept it is because like that's just kind of how we were raised. We don't throw away food regardless whether it's bad food or good food. But this time around we did throw them away because it's just all junk food. It's not good for you anyways. It's not something you would normally donate either. Like it's not like canned food that you can just donate. I don't know. I'm sure food banks will still take it, but I don't think you could donate candy if I remember correctly. But it's not food like that gives you sustenance anyways, so it's not good for you. And we threw it away just so that we wouldn't feel obligated to and feel tempted to eat it. It's just something we don't do normally, and we're trying to be healthier this year. So we just had to like kind of break that habit of keeping food and making sure we eat it because like that's just how we were raised. So we threw all of those away, which I don't miss anyways. I'm not a candy person. I don't like candy unless it's chocolate. Like I hate Jolly Ranchers and Lifesavers and all that. Ugh. Like lollipops, like they gross me out. And I don't like the aftertaste and the feeling you have in your mouth when you eat candy. So I don't like candy anyway. So that's not a big deal. And then along with creating that spreadsheet that I mentioned, so I did create a spreadsheet, an Excel spreadsheet of my micro goals. And I like color coded it and everything and like did it by month. And then I had like a brain dump tab where I just brain dumped a bunch of micro goals that I want to accomplish this year. But I'm going to just like pick from the list and build onto it every month. So I'll like revisit the spreadsheet like every month or whatever. But along with that spreadsheet, I also designated a journal for this thing. So when I graduated college, I did actually lost like, I think almost 30 pounds. Yeah, I think I lost 30 pounds and I did really well that year. And I kept a journal, and that journal I wrote in every single night. And it really helped me like reevaluate myself for the day. And I think that really helped me in that journey. But like personal stuff happened that year, which made me like kind of gain the weight back. But so for this year, I got another journal. I designated another journal specifically to write in on a regular basis. There's just something about pen and paper. I love the feeling of writing on paper. So I use it as a place to like jot down what I achieved for the day, or why do I want to achieve these goals? Like, what does it mean for me to lose weight? It's really like a thought journal, a place for me to just like dump my ideas. It really was a starting point to organizing and creating my micro goals. So I did the journal first and then kind of just did a brain dump on there first. And then I kind of transferred it over to the spreadsheet. But then I also keep it or I write in it on a regular basis. Like I write on it every night to talk about kind of like how I felt for that day. And like I said, like my accomplishments, what did I do? What did I eat? Etc. Whatever I want to talk about, like I put in that journal. So that's like my well-being journal, I think is what I called it. So that was like my month of January. It was just all planning for these micro goals and planning like what I want to do and how to change my mindset for the year so that I can actually accomplish this goal for once. Because I did turn 29 this year. So my goal is to get to a healthy weight. Not like, I don't want to say like be skinny, but be in a healthy weight range for my age and height, and gender before I turn 30. So I want to accomplish these micro goals and accomplish this overall macro goal before my 30th birthday. So now that we're in February, well, I'm recording this in February. This is probably going to go out in February. I chose 5 goals from my micro goal list to incorporate for February. And so for the 5 goals, my goal is to do them at least 3 times a week for the month of February. So for 4 weeks, I do them at least 3 times a week. So the 5 that I picked for this month is to go for a walk, like maybe walk link during my lunch, write in my journal every night, or at least, 3 times a week. Get up at least 30 minutes early. So instead of like 7:55, like I was saying earlier, get up at 7:30. Put my phone away, like I said, put it in the bathroom, like I've been doing. That one I actually started in January. And I like that one. That one's an easy one. I probably won't add that to next month's goals because that's something I think I'm just going to keep doing anyways. And then the yoga challenge. So far, I've been doing pretty well. So, will I lose weight and make my goal this year? Maybe. Am I hopeful that this will work? Sure. For me, I've just failed so many times that I'm just open to any new ideas, any new ways to approach goals. So if something doesn't work, you kind of just have to pause, reevaluate, and readjust until you find something that does work. I think the most important thing is that you don't stop. For all I know, we only get this one life, this one body, so I owe it to myself to try whatever I can to make sure I live a healthy and fulfilling life. I hope this episode was helpful and insightful. Let me know what your micro goals are. If you have advice, I'm totally open to that as well. What helped you achieve your goals? Please let me know. Thanks so much for listening. If you enjoy what you hear and want to stay up to date on the show, please follow me on Facebook and or on Instagram. You can also check out my website at thetalkativeintrovertpodcast.com. All the information will be on there as well as in the description. Please help support the show by sharing it with your friends and family. Thanks so much, and I'll talk to you guys in the next episode.